Hi everybody, welcome to this watercolor demonstration of how to paint this beautiful little cactus plant. Today we're going to use some yellow green, some sap green, cerulean blue, burnt umber, paynes-gray, a red-orange, an opera pink, a yellow, and a number 6 round brush. And my paper is a 140-pound cold press paper by Arches. I'm mixing a yellow-green right here, and I'm going to start painting in my shapes, and it's just going to be this roundish, ovalish pear cactus shape. And my paint is kind of buttery, I guess. It's kind of like not too wet and not too dry. Right there I just add a teeny bit of water, and I'm pulling out my I have a dog, so there's dog hair everywhere in my house. She's shedding a lot, so it frequently ends up in my paint. And if that's the case, you want to kind of remove that because it will actually make a mark in your paint. But somehow I have a hard time controlling that. So if you like puppies, then you live with these problems. So here I am adding my shape for the bottom of my cactus, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just adding kind of that not too watery, kind of a yellow-green in there. And I'm going to continue doing that for the rest of my shapes. Awesome, now we have our shapes created, and I'm just going to go in with my darker green. I have a darker green on my palette. It's sort of a sap green. I'm not actually sure. I'm pretty sure it's a sap green. It could be a hooker's green. So any darker green that you have. And I'm just going to add some shading on the right side of my cactus under each little petal that's there. I don't even know what you call them. I guess they're petals. I mean, I'm not really sure. But I'm just concentrating my shadows to the right side, and the left side is where the light is shining. Now I'm taking my burnt umber, and I'm just creating a little oval underneath to create the pot dirt shape. So I just want to kind of figure out how big I want my pot, and I'm making this oval, trying to make it as realistic shaped as possible. And then we're just going to paint in the pot. As my cactus is drying, I'm adding even more shadow color to it. And now I'm going to grab my opera pink that I have. Now use any kind of pink you have on your palette. You don't have to use opera pink, but maybe an alizarin crimson, whatever you have in your toolkit is just fine. Just it's going to be a little bit watered down for the first initial petals of our flowers. And then we're going to add another glaze on top of it later. So just, this is a little bit watery right there. It's too watery. I'm going to remove some of that probably. There we go. And then I'm going to just continue to make 3 more flowers or 2 more flowers on my cactus. So I grabbed a little bit of my burnt umber and my red orange there, and I'm trying to define the shape of my pot still, the oval and maybe the first edge of it. Quite dry. I'm sure it's damp still, but it's getting there. So I cleaned off my brush and I dipped it in just plain water, and I went around all over my cactus and just dropped that water in, and it created a tiny little dot for where maybe the prickers might be on my cactus. Using that same mixture we had before of the burnt umber and the orange, I'm going to define the bottom shape of my pot. And I found that if I turn my canvas around sideways, you can use the way your hand moves naturally in a round, because if I make a downstroke, it'll come out pretty round, because the radius of your wrist will help you to define that. So don't be afraid to turn your canvas around if it's easier for you to paint a shape. I'm grabbing my opera pink, and I'm adding some more petals to the flowers, and it's a glaze on top of the flower petals you have already, and it'll bring depth to the flowers and look like there's some petals in front and some petals behind. For the shadow mark on the side, on the right side of my pot, I'm using a cerulean blue and just popping it right on top of that shape. And it's mixing with the brown color below, and it's creating a beautiful thing. And I'm kind of scumbling it on top of the paper so I get a little texture as well. Because my paper is a cold press, it has a little bit of a rough texture, so you can use that to your advantage. And I want to try to define the shape of the edge of the pot as well. So I'm trying to be careful. I brought in some clean water there. I'm just kind of blending that. And little by little, we're getting the shape of that pot. I'm adding a lot of darker colors to the dirt part, so it's kind of paynes-gray and also more of that burnt umber. So we're layering from light to dark always in watercolor. You start off light and you keep glazing colors on top of it, and that's how you bring out your lights and darks. I decided I really wanted to pop out the sun coming down, so I decided to create a more harsher shadow area on the right side just to make it pop even more. So where there is darks, you see more light. So I'm going to add a little bit under that petal that's on the top right side and on each side of this cactus just to pop that shadow even more. You can see how that shadow really defined the cactus even more. So I put it under the flowers, and I put it on the right side, and I also scumbled more on the pot. And now I'm just going in with not a black, but it's the brown color mixed with probably a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to go here and there and add all of the cactus prickers. So here you have it. You've made this beautiful little cactus plant. Here I'm just adding more shadow to the dirt and defining the dirt area. And after that, you are done. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and like, because it helps me a lot. And thank you so much. Please stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.